We're back for another A&Q video where we answer your questions and find new questions to answer along the way. The topic for today is a big one that has been important for followers of Jesus since the beginning of the Christian church. And I suspect it will probably lead to more questions because it has been heavily debated over the centuries. Here's the question. What is communion? Communion is an act of remembrance initiated by Jesus the night before his betrayal, arrest, and crucifixion. It is an opportunity for his followers to remember this sacrifice on the cross and look ahead to when he will return and right all wrongs. Communion, too, in a supernatural and mysterious way, unites us with all the followers of Jesus who have gone before us. For thousands of years, believers have taken the bread and the cup, and Christians today are a part of that legacy. Maybe you grew up in a Christian tradition or denomination that practiced communion. Maybe you called it the Eucharist or the Lord's Supper. Maybe your church tradition recognized a first communion. Or maybe you have no church background at all, but you've seen people take communion and it always left you feeling puzzled. Wherever you are, if you're watching this video, you've probably wondered, where did this practice come from and why do followers of Jesus do it? You might not know this, but the first communion didn't happen in a church building or during a worship service. It took place in the middle of a meal between Jesus and his followers. You can read about this event in the Bible, in the Gospels, and in one of Paul's letters. So picture this. While they ate together, celebrating the Jewish Passover, Jesus took everyday elements, bread and wine, and he poured new meaning into them. Of the bread, he said, "This is my body, broken for you." Of the wine, he said, "This is my blood, shed for you, for the forgiveness of sins. Take, eat, and drink in remembrance of me." In other words, Jesus went to the cross on our behalf. He laid down his life for us, his body broken and his blood shed. And communion helps us to remember that extravagant act of love and the mercy, forgiveness, and grace that Jesus offers. Now, we've already mentioned that the specifics of communion are sometimes debated, and different Christian traditions or denominations practice it in different ways. For some, the bread and the cup become the literal body and blood of Jesus. For others, he is said to be present in the elements, in, around, above, and below, although how that happens is a mystery. Another viewpoint is that while these elements are incredibly important, weighty symbols that help us remember the cross, they don't actually become Jesus' body and blood. For me, I land on the latter. I see communion as symbols that help us remember what Jesus did for us. And I believe taking them is reserved for those who have placed their trust and faith in Jesus. And as a side note, in communion, some traditions use wine. Others, out of respect for those in recovery, use grape juice. Here's an important note. No matter where you land on these various thoughts about the elements, don't let anything keep you from remembering and celebrating their ultimate point. It's Jesus. We have hope because of the cross. And in a world that moves fast, I'm grateful that Jesus initiated this sacred meal to help slow us down and remember. I know that was a lot for some of you, so thanks for sticking with me. We already said that this answer could lead to more questions, so please put those in the comment section. I mentioned different ways of approaching communion, and maybe you're wondering how to have respectful conversations with people that disagree with you. You might be asking about another important practice of the church, baptism or something else. Whatever it is, let us know. We'll see you soon for our next A&Q video.